What's going on, button pushers? Welcome to the channel. If you guys are new here, my name is David, and today we're going to be talking about the Crane 3S.
ありがとうございました。
If you guys are looking for something a little bit more in-depth, make sure to check out my last video where I compare the RS2 to the Crane 3S, because it's going to go a lot more in-depth about the Crane 3S itself, what I think about it, and a little bit more detailed compared to what today's video is going to be, which is a super quick review of the Crane 3S. Before we get started though, shout out to Zhiyun for sending me the Crane 3S so I can make that comparison video, as well as this quick little review for you guys. Let me know in the comments below, what do you feel about the Crane 3S? Let's get started. So who is the Crane 3S made for? Well, if you are running with heavier camera rigs, if you're looking for something super straightforward that can be a workhorse, this gimbal's for you. It's definitely designed to be able to handle those heavier camera rigs and be able to be that reliable gimbal in any situation without having all those features. To be completely honest with you, I did have a few issues using the gimbal, but it could just be me. I could just be a little bit stupid. After a little bit of practice, after a little bit of reading the manual and just figuring the gimbal out itself, it's definitely going to be one of those more reliable things that you can really depend on to help you out in any situation as far as using it to get the shot that you need. From using a DSLR to being able to handle a RED camera, you can really depend on this gimbal to get you covered for that. However, as far as the ergonomics for the gimbal, it is very confusing to me because there's a ton of buttons. There's just, things everywhere, so I'll be accidentally, touching things when I use it, and it's just a little bit of all over the place. But honestly, when it comes down to it, again, it's just all about practice, getting used to it, because if you're using something for the first time, you're never gonna know what something is or where things are. So after, a few more uses, maybe I'll be able to know where to put my hands to avoid accidentally touching things. I'll be able to learn some of the buttons and figure out what some of them do compared to others. So of course, again, it all comes down to how long you've known the product you're using. So let's run it through with a few pros and cons that I've found when using this gimbal. First of all, again, it can carry 15 pounds. That is a super big factor for a lot of people, because some people are running those heavier rigs and need that potential to carry a heavy camera like that. That might be something that piques your interest. It has a ton of cool accessories, a power expansion pack that really excites me because it allows up to 18 hours of runtime, as well as a dedicated focus and zoom motor, which really, factors towards that cinema world for those cinema zoom lenses. Those are super amazing, and this is actually going to help you out a ton when you're working with a team. So if you really need someone to pull focus for you, or, just monitor you and help you out, the Crane is really built just for that. When it comes down to any situation with working with a team, the Crane is going to be your best friend. Seriously. And of course, it can handle a wide variety of mounts, from a car mount to a jib to maybe possibly even a drone. So it really allows for that versatility when trying to get a shot or being on set and trying to figure out what you want to do for a shot, because it allows you to do so many different things. And of course, again, you can be completely confident that it will power through your shoot. It will literally carry a majority of your cameras, anything that you really want, that up to 15 pounds, which is again such an amazing payload, and be able to just keep powering through and stabilizing your shots. Honestly, there's only two cons that are going to really, affect a lot of things. One is that it is too big and too heavy. Now, I've gotten this comment a lot, especially on my comparison video. People have been saying left and right, even from Crane users themselves, they've returned the gimbal because it was just too heavy. And of course, yes, you can go to the gym, you can lift and do all this stuff, but the gimbal was made to be a lighter weight, more portable situation compared to using a Movi or a Ronin 2, which I'm sure a ton of people would want to use, but it isn't as portable, it isn't as lightweight when it comes down to it. So that's when the handheld gimbals come into play. But this gimbal is just a little bit too heavy for some, and me. And the form factor. Personally, this is just for me. Honestly, it's not too bad of a thing when it comes down to it. It really depends on the preference of the person, but the form factor of this gimbal is really weird. It has this arm sticking out. So this arm is just protruding out of the gimbal, so it kind of makes it super hard to store and just hold in general because it's so big. And that's kind of the thing that makes it so heavy, but that's also where it gets power from. It gets power from these 3 batteries that comes from that protruding arm, which gives it that ability to be mounted on different accessories and held in a different way and get specific shots. So I completely understand why it has to be heavy and why it's built just like that. It can be good, but at the same time it can be bad for some, and that is actually a factor that a lot of people are going to be looking at, because the form factor is something, because I can't really put it on the shelf because it's too big. I literally have to like find a place for it or put it back in the case and whatnot. I can't just leave it out, you know, it's one of those things. So when it comes down to the Zhiyun Crane 3S, it's not made to be a feature monster or ease of use gimbal. It's made to be that straightforward workhorse when it comes down to working with a team for that higher end production, and be able to get that shot with any camera you desire and be able to just power through your shoot and give you the shots that you desire. It's able to handle so many different situations, and it says, screw it, I want to be able to just shoot. I don't really care about the features. You need to get this shot, and we're not going to do with any of that extra stuff. So is this the gimbal for you? Are you looking for something that can carry heavy cameras, something that isn't too focused on those features? If so, then yes. But if you're looking for features and, you know, a lot of ease of use things, if you're handling things a lot by yourself, then maybe you want to look at the RS2. However, when it comes down to it, the Crane 3S is actually an amazing gimbal if you just practice. Of course, that's with anything. You get better results if you practice. You get better results when you learn how to use the tools that you use to be able to get what you need to get. It all comes down to that. How much are you willing to practice with the gimbal and kind of get familiarized with the tool itself? It can do what it needs to do, and it stabilizes things really well because of those powerful motors that are built to handle heavier camera loads. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. How do you feel about the Crane 3S? And remember to check out my previous video comparing the RS2 and the Crane 3S if you want a more detailed and in-depth comparison as well as review of both gimbals themselves. Anyways, that's all for today's video, guys. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed. And I'm sorry for not uploading my weekly content because I have been super busy. I, rearranged my room a bit. I have been shooting a lot lately, working and figuring out my whole situation. But I'm trying my best to push out content for you guys. Anyways, yeah, that's all. Keep pushing buttons, guys. Have an amazing day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.